We are all set.
All right, I'll call this meeting of the Board of Appeals to order. First off, we need to settle a couple of issues. Does anyone need to abstain from voting tonight?
No.
Who is out to see any of the properties before us? No one? And did you speak with anyone regarding the variance requests before us?
No.
All right. Consideration of the agenda is next in order.
For the agenda.
Yeah. I guess we just accept it.
Yes. I make a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll second it.
Done. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And finally, we get to the minutes from last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the November meeting.
All right.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes from the last meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, 4-0. We're ready to go. Without further ado, and we are up to our normal membership. Oh, Tommy. That's all right. Mr. Gita, for the property on Van Lannen Road, is he here?
I am.
Hi, come on up. How you doing? Okay, what do we got here?
Steve Vito with Bauer Associates. What we're looking at doing is we're looking at doing an addition on the end of this house, but we are on the floodplain and we're already meeting floodplain requirements. I need to elevate the ground around the structure to get to that level of elevation. It's currently a walkout and we're actually going to be closing that in and then raising it up so that we can eliminate the flood insurance requirements possibly. In order to do that, we need to fill 15 feet out from the structure to meet the floodplain requirements, and we aren't able to do that because of the property line being there. We will need a retaining wall to accomplish that. So really on one side of the house, I can't accomplish that, so we're requesting that we have a deviation from the 15 feet of fill so that we can accomplish that.
Okay. Now, there were some side windows that must lead to a basement. Are those safely above the level, or is the ground that you're going to put in going to protect that?
Yeah, the ground that we'll put in around will meet the floodplain requirements, so any windows that will be below that will come out. Can obviously be raised or filled in, whatever needs to be done to make sure that we're elevating.
Okay, so those windows will go to,
I believe so. Are they on the side of the house?
The windows on the side of the
Yeah.
house are actually above the floodplain.
They're
now.
above
are they?
floodplain, yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right, those are.
On the back end, there's a sliding glass door that's going to be removed and then blocked in.
So this is a situation where the variance is required because there's new construction. Because of the new construction, they trigger the need for the variance, and if they don't do anything, they're still, I mean, if we don't grant the variance, does that mean the construction doesn't get done, I guess?
In essence,
And yet, on the other hand, they're not flood protected now.
they are not, no. In some sense, it's non-conforming to a certain degree to
Yeah.
current codes. but-
Yeah, I think I realize we're in this kind of an odd situation where I'm not sure we help things if we deny variance.
You've seen these before throughout
Yep.
the years.
Yep.
And in lieu of that fill, they have to provide a retaining wall or engineered system to kind of create an island around the structure. So, and that is provided. The detail's kind of twisted, but that's in this side view here of the attempt to protect that and create that island.
Yeah, we didn't get to see that part.
I think that was attached. I think that's part of that X 869 in the report. That's a revised from the original application.
Maybe there was something extra in here. Okay, any questions, gentlemen, for the applicant?
Well, it's, just to clarify here, it's the addition that's tripping this
Well, it's kind of
15-foot
twofold.
thing up here, isn't it?
It is. However, we're in the floodplain now, and obviously that's extremely expensive. That's a walkout basement on the end of that house, so in order to clean that up or get out of the requirement of flood insurance, we probably would be requesting the same variance whether we were doing the addition or not. You know, obviously everybody's goal to not play the flood insurance. The flood insurance is extremely expensive. But because he's gonna do the addition and the construction, he's able to essentially fill that in and get rid of the walkout portion of it, raise the windows up to the point of elevation where he could essentially remove the whole structure from the floodplain.
Paul, which one is it on the aerial?
Oh, this one right here.
The north one? Okay, so
The expansion's going to the west.
it's going that way.
Yeah, this is serious construction then.
Ah,
I mean, he's taking away his walkout and everything. So,
yeah, I think we'll still have some exposed windows though, just because of the elevation we can actually accomplish. We'll still have enough room to do some exposed windows.
What's the easement for storm and water? Is that a buried pipe, or is there anything in that easement?
On the north side, or where you?
Well, there's a easement that's,
This one right here.
To answer that, I'm not certain what's in that line. It's probably the city's dump sewer, I'd have to guess. It's
Yeah,
nothing to do with
yes.
what we're proposing to do or
Right.
tying into, but.
you're just filling over a portion
The
of
top
it.
of a portion of it, yeah.
Okay.
further questions? Okay, sir, if you could have a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our staff did notice the DNR as part of our ordinance, and they had no objection to the request.
Yeah, we've seen these, I think every single place that wants to do something out there, those lots are so narrow.
Along the Bay Shore,
We're kind of
typically.
stuck.
Yeah, very narrow lots, really.
So I guess certainly there's dimensional aspects of this request that meet the aspects that we need to see, so I'm okay with this.
Well, and it seems like the improvements are making the property more flood safe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though it's a variance to the requirements, it's still making the property better able to withstand a flood event, so.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, I think it makes sense to me too. I move approval.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Alverson, seconded by Mr. Hutchison to approve the variance request for the item on Van Lannen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the Rooshes. You're the Roosh.
Yes.
Have a seat. Tell us what you want to do.
I'm trying to build a 12 by 24 garage next to the house there at 997 Shawano. There's currently a garage that's set. You can see their existing garage behind the building,
Yeah.
behind the home. And that driveway used to be shared with the neighbor, and it no longer is. And then the neighbor actually built a fence along there, so you can't access that garage. So I'm just trying to build one, and you can actually see those cars are parked. Where we got the permits to build the garage, and we actually poured some concrete, and then we were notified later that, you know, I need to go through this process to continue with that building the structure.
How'd you get a permit and then get it told that it wasn't a permit?
Not quite sure.
Paul, you got anything to add to
Clue on
that?
one.
It might have been a little mishap because the lot next to the house, we are combining or we're joining that lot to make one large lot. So that could have been one of the reasons.
Oh, so the request maybe was made while it was a separate parcel? and-
No, he's triggering the auxiliary building. He's now going to put a second large auxiliary building in.
Yeah.
Is that existing garage a separate structure from the one adjacent? Are those two garages right next to each other?
Correct.
But you can't access it because of
There's no way to get to
there's
it.
no more shared agreement with the neighbor about access.
Right, and so when I purchased this property, there was actually no driveway or parking of any means. So the lot next to it, I also purchased so I could combine them so that we could build a garage on it so that they had one. So that there was a driveway and,
Well, that was convenient. I mean, I don't know what you would have done.
right, there was, basically the only option was this.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so you try to do the right thing. The people, for whatever reason, the shared driveway idea went away. You got another lot, you merged them together, and right away you wanted to put a garage in, which immediately put you afoul of the ordinance for the number of auxiliary buildings.
Right.
Okay. You think about tearing down the other garage?
I'd rather not go that route. It is in good condition. There's new vinyl siding on it, a new roof. It's good storage. I'm not building a 24 by 24 garage or anything like that. You know, it's just a 12 by 24, and what's existing there is a 12 by 20. So between the two, I think it's good storage space and parking.
What, was there a house on that lot once? Do we know?
I'm not quite sure. I'm going to assume so, yes.
Yeah.
How long ago? I don't know.
What, was there already a driveway into that?
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, I was gonna ask you how you got, how you got approval to put that curb cut in. Okay.
And most of these suggestions came from the inspector of that area, which I'm trying, I forget her name now, but.
Questions, gentlemen?
Have the lots been joined already?
Yes. It may not show up on a map because I think it's got to go through the first of the year or something like that for it to show combined.
Got it.
Something like that. But all the paperwork's been processed, everything's been approved. We're just kind of waiting at this point. Something to do with the tax bills. They need to keep it separate until the tax bills are paid, and then the next tax bill it'll be combined or joined.
Gotcha.
So you could have bought the second lot, entered into a shared arrangement for the driveway with the people next door who just lost their arrangement on the other side. Kept the two lots separate and put the garage up. Oh, then you
You can't because you can't.
don't have a house there.
You don't have a house. Yeah.
Another catch-22, all right.
Or the other solution, he could have parked in the driveway that he's using there on the parcel at 993, and then paved the whole backyard behind the house to curve around and enter the existing garage.
Well, I
You
couldn't, they actually were making me remove that driveway if I didn't combine them.
Right.
Ah,
And it's funny, looking at the street view of this, that the lot, if you go, you're fixed here, yeah. So I'm looking at one image over to the right, and there's not actually, the driveway to the old garage doesn't actually physically connect, it's just a little pad, and there's lawn that you're actually driving across to get there, so, yeah,
it's an odd situation.
it's a very odd.
By putting that garage there, though, it makes a lot of sense and creates for a little bit larger lot.
Yeah, it's definitely better, I think, in the shape of the neighborhood there.
At least in 2000, there wasn't a structure there. I just imagine there was a house there one time, but it's been
Yeah.
a number of years.
At least since
It's
2000.
been that long. Huh?
So to make sure I'm on the same page, the only thing that's creating an issue is the existing garage. That's it. So it's 100 feet too big because it's now in theory going to be a secondary structure. So it's 100 feet too big. Okay. But the lot lines, all that stuff doesn't matter.
Right.
It's butt up against something else on that other lot line, or is that the same thing shared across the lot line on the left?
It's two garages there, and there's probably 3 feet or something, 4 feet in between them.
Well,
Is it?
looks like his driveway is slightly encroaching on your property, so you might want to, deal with that with him.
Yeah, those
All in the
lines
interest of being a good neighbor, I'm sure. right?
Those
Yeah.
lines are usually in the right spot, but we can't always be sure.
I don't have any other questions.
Any further questions? Okay, sir, if you could have a seat.
All right.
deliberate quietly amongst ourselves. What do you think, gentlemen?
This is just one of those wonky things you gotta deal with. I think it's got a
Yeah.
good solution.
I think that's what we're here for,
I feel like this district
yeah.
in this area has so many of these narrow secondary structures. I mean, how many do we see every single time? And he's doing the long-term work in terms of combining lots in order to fix a lot of those. And that's what's going to have to happen in a lot of those areas. So he's doing the work. The long-term probably is going to have to happen.
Yeah,
you know,
he's dealing
lot
with
of
a
these
40, a
properties.
40-foot wide parcel there, it looks like, you know,
Yeah.
just,
So narrow.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I think it's-
Yeah, I'm okay with this. This makes good
This is
sense.
fixing things.
yeah, 90 feet, square feet is really what I'm getting. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Everman, seconded by Mr. Halverson to approve the variance request for 997 Shawano Avenue. Further discussion, gentlemen? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You got your variance,
All right.
5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Something I didn't even say. Did you get me? Okay. In my role as the resident old person, I'll gripe about the technology here. Anyway, the Dials don't care to listen to us, so would you care to come up and make your case?
I don't know who Randall Dial is.
Oh, really? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tenor is the name on the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
That's a mistake on my part.
all right, well, whatever.
That's okay, we'll blame that guy if it doesn't
Yeah,
go well.
that's right. That's what you gotta do. Okay. Now we're getting there. So you're Mr. Tenor?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So explain to us how this came before us.
Okay, my daughter came up and got a permit to expand a driveway. And I had some guys from, I'm trying to think of the concrete company, it was Valley Concrete that worked on driveways. And I contracted them to do this, and they, by the time I got there, they were supposed to start at like 1 o'clock, and they got there at 11 because they got done. And they poured it all the way to the curb. And the permit says I have to go from the corner of the existing driveway and sidewalk up 5 feet on the left-hand side. That has to be grass. Because of the way, there's 2 big trees there, that I can't extend the driveway out anymore. And there's 1 car missing yet in that picture that goes up. And then my son-in-law has a pickup truck, it's a company truck that he works with my son, David Tenner Construction. And so when he goes in, if that is out, he's gonna be driving over the grass constantly to get into that driveway and up. And I said, well, leave it. They had it poured. I said, leave it, because it was already starting to dry. And I said, I'll see what I can do about getting to stay that place. They said they did one in Green Bay that morning, and they did it also pointing right up to the sidewalk. But then I found out from Randy, our alderman in the area, that a lot of people do it without permits, and they just do it basically not legal. I got a permit, and we didn't do it the way the permit was because my daughter was working. The guy came and poured it. So I said, well, and I could see where it was an advantage to leave it that way because driving over the grass, the people in the neighborhood are elderly. It's an old area. If they drive across it constantly with tire tracks to get onto that parking area, it's gonna make mud go on the sidewalk. Everything tapers to that corner also, but it would make mud, stuff like this. People are walking in there, some are in their 80s, and if there's dirt and mud, it gets slippery after rain or something. I'm thinking, well, if they fall, that's not good. Also for snow removing or plowing the snow off, we have to blow it, it'd be going over the grass from actually to get in it. And I just looked at it and said, well, I'm gonna talk to you about letting it just the way it is. I have 2 grandchildren in there that support cars, and so it's just, there's another car that's missing there yet. That would be my daughter's. That the red Blazer is my son-in-law's, one in front is my granddaughter's, the red one is my grandson. I'd say my daughter from this picture is not there because she's got a car, and then the pickup. So in the winter, we can't have any cars parked on the road, and there's just no place. They're either driving on the grass, which is what they were doing. I said, well, we can't continue doing that. So I said, get a permit, I want to widen the driveway out. I can't go no more to the right of that because of the property. And there's 2 trees. It's almost impossible to widen the driveway out anymore without digging into the roots and whatnot, or having the tree removed where you could come straight into it. The only thing that, they say they had I could see if it was to park a camper or a boat, that angle wouldn't hurt anything because you can wheel it in and wheel it over and there it sits. But here they're gonna be driving in and out. If you put another car there, it's literally impossible for them to get in to make the turn without not driving over the grass area that would be removed. And we're gonna make a lot of ruts in it and stuff like this, so it will never really keep grass, I don't think, to get there to use it, so it's hoping.
But you were prepared and accepted in your original site plan the proper,
I never really sought a permit until my daughter called me and said that it was wrong. So it was done, she wasn't there, and my son-in-law wasn't there, and so they poured it, and they got mesh and everything in it, and I was just hoping we could leave, because we can make it grass, I can saw it out and remove it, but we're gonna be driving over it constantly. He can't, when 4 vehicles are there, he comes late, he leaves early in the morning, and he comes basically later than everybody else that's working.
it appears that there's a couple other issues here. There's some concrete that's been poured on the side.
Yes.
The left side. Is that an issue, Paul?
My daughter said she got permit from somebody to
It's
put
kind of-
garbage.
Kind of.
I came up with her to get the permits, and the head of the garbage department was there, and the lady we were getting the permit from, or gentleman, went in, and they said it would be okay, because that's where she puts her garbage cans. So the driveway looks
Yeah, 2 by
actually
6.
bigger than what it is.
And yet that's not a driveway.
It's really not part of the driveway.
So
Yeah.
that's not an issue here?
I don't believe so, no. It's really the area that's from the inside the sidewalk back towards the house.
Yes.
That
Right.
table.
Yeah, if you look on the Google Maps, I think there is a waste disposal bin there, so that's what they use it for. Now, you've also got the widened driveway that's apparently non-conforming on the right side, that was apparently added.
Yes, that was
I
there
don't-
prior to us, when I bought the house.
Yeah.
So it would have been conforming if you go to the upper right of the new concrete in between the sidewalk and the curb and angle it like at a 45.
Yeah, they wanted us to go up 5 feet on the left-hand side from the
Yeah.
sidewalk and then come back to the corner and cut that out of there and put grass in.
We're kind of upside down, but I see the permit shows that 5 feet off.
Yeah, off of
I
that.
call it a 5-foot taper
Oh.
back into the,
Oh, it's going, okay, so it's narrowing.
yes, it comes back to the neck of the driveway.
Okay.
It's a channel cars back into the neck, so to speak.
Oh, I see. So that's on the lawn.
Yes, it would
So
be.
you're talking about a triangle on your lawn?
Yes.
Okay.
The taper would
cutting
come up
that
into
out.
here somewhere.
Yep.
So this would have to be saw cut out
I
to
see.
meet the code. So the max here is 25.
And what are we looking at?
I don't know the exact distance there, but there would have to be that taper, right?
That's 7.5, the new is 7.5, and I think the other one is 10, and not sure what that is. It's pretty close to the 25, I would say. I didn't measure it, but I would think it's probably less than 25.
Yeah, maybe a little less if that's 7.5 on
Normally 5-foot squares on the sidewalk, right?
It's about 25. It's probably a good guess.
the, yeah.
And all the other there's 5
Yeah.
driveways around that have extended, and they're all like that.
Yeah, I think that's why they poured it that way, because everybody said extended went right up to the sidewalk. And, and I don't know if the permit was, when she got it, they thought it was gonna be more than 25 wide. That's why they made her to cut that angle out, be away. But like I said, we did that when he comes in to go around with the other car in there to make the turn to get onto that parking spot. He's driving over the grass all the time. And I thought, well, it'd be better if it wasn't making mud and everything else on the sidewalk, or erosion and everything else, just to leave it the way it is.
So we're in the position, Paul, of the city saying he's got to cut a triangle out of his concrete pour and replace it with grass. If he did that or had done that, there'd be no issue.
Correct.
How did he get the, I'm always confused on widening driveways to allow this type of thing. Is there some width that he stayed in between so that he qualified in the first place?
I don't know the full history of the property, but this is a case where he's got a single stall garage, so you can expand 8 feet either side of the garage door opening.
Oh, okay.
So I can't speak for the right-hand side if there's a permit for that or not. The left-hand side, sure, it's not in front of the front door.
Yeah, that was,
It's about 7 feet wide.
yeah,
So-
okay, okay. So he
That
can
meets
go,
the code.
he can go 8 feet either side of his garage door, got it.
That's
As
the
long as
first
it's not
thing.
in front of the front door.
As long as it's not, that's usually what we run
That's what
into.
It gets kind of an out for single stall garages who need more width to park vehicles. So it's simply the taper is the issue. It doesn't meet the permit that was issued.
Well, the thing that I'm grappling with here is the character, the orientation of the house relative to the street. You know, when you look at this, that house isn't parallel to the street. So if it were, the angle of the sidewalk as it cuts the driveway would probably be giving the exact cut they're talking about making them have in terms of the drawback from the sidewalk. So in a sense, it's got the same form as it would have to have. It's just going up to a sidewalk that's angled. And so by taking another 5 feet off of that sidewalk that's already kind of angled in, to me, it's making this more difficult than it needs to be. It's slicing that pizza slice narrower than you would have to if this street ran parallel to the face of that house. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, we would.
Oh, we might, yeah, that's what we might do. I mean, like, if that pavement were exactly the same shape and the street was parallel to the front of the house, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Because we'd have the cut back already on it.
So what you're saying, to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying, though, is this is already angled
Yeah,
because the property's angled.
right.
So if you
because
brought,
the
if the street was down here, it would have the taper
Yeah,
already
yeah.
at the right angle.
Yeah, if that sidewalk went parallel to the face of that house, that driveway would already have that notch back on it that it's required to have.
Got it.
How old is this house, sir?
I'm not sure, it's 70, 80 years old.
How long have you owned it?
This is 2 years.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so, and you're saying the stuff, obviously then the stuff on the right was there when you bought it?
Yes.
Right.
There's a lot of people in it, and
Yeah, as my grandchildren get bigger, everybody gets a vehicle today, it seems. When I was younger, I had to ask Dad to use the car, but that don't work anymore, I guess everybody gets one.
Buying bus passes.
That's what I should have done. Well, they all have jobs and they all go in and out, they kind of got their routine on which one parks where before one leaves and stuff like this so they can get out, so. But like I say, the pickup truck is actually the one that would be the big problem, otherwise I really did need to extend it. If you can't park it on the street in the wintertime and he takes it home every night because he picks the guys up in the morning and stuff when they go to work, so.
further questions? Okay, sir, if you could have a seat, we'll talk it over. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
My initial thought was probably no, but Noel made, I think, actually a really good, because it's an optical illusion with the pictures, but you really have a taper, right, already happening, almost at a 45-degree angle, you know, already occurring. So in a sense, you're now getting what?
Double whammy, I think is a technical term.
Yeah, like you're getting a 70-degree angle, and you know what I mean? Or whatever, the smaller one, the opposite way, I guess, of that would be. So that's got me thinking. I thought that was a great point, Noel. Because it's already tapered in a way, it's just the sidewalks coming that way.
Yeah, it's just, for me, there's like, the things we deal with, there's different categories. There's like, you know, I want more place for my stuff, or and there's like the goofy lot
Yeah,
deal
sure.
with it, right? And this goes into goofy lot.
This
deal
is
with
a
it for
goofy
me.
lot one, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a great point that has got me going now.
I'll move approval as requested.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best to call a question. Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Halverson.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Babcock has seconded the motion made by Mr. Halverson to approve the property for the tenants. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a Merry Christmas,
You too.
everyone.
You
Yes.
too. Thank you.
Have a good evening, too. Thank you.
All
Is there
right.
any housekeeping stuff? Not, motion to adjourn.
Good call.
I just have one question. I don't know if this needs to be on the record or not. What if one of us were to apply for a variance? Not to say that it was happening in the immediate future, but how does that work?
You just gotta recuse yourself, right?
That's probably advisable, yes.
No, I know that, but like, how does that work with the board members? Is it any different?
I don't think that it is.
Okay.
no.
It is kind of a divide by zero thing. Because
Yeah.
to the extent that we all have relationships,